Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Jerry.
Good morning. It's quite funny. You all call me Dr. Jerry, and then people come in. They say, "What do we call you, Jerry? Dr. Jerry?" I say, "Oh, whatever."
You're a doctor, what? Of course, they got to call you doctor, what? I go to the vet, I call the vet doctor also.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which is true, you do, yeah.
I mean, you've earned the title.
Mm-hmm. You studied hard for it.
Everyone call me DJ.
DJ.
DJ Glenn.
DJ Glenn. Anyway, Dr. Jerry, we're about a week and a half away from Chinese New Year, which is on obviously the 21st of January. And I think this topic comes just in time about how we can declutter certain toxic people from our lives. Not necessarily family, but also friends.
I think it's very important so that we can have smaller gatherings.
Yes.
But it's some aunties. Usually the uncles are fine. It's the aunties. There's some aunties that just need
no filter.
Shut up.
But there may be some cousins that you don't like as well.
Cousins, they're okay. Cousins are okay.
Same age.
It's always the aunties.
The aunties.
So what
Tell me I'm wrong, okay? People on Facebook right now, okay? Okay?
So how do we declutter these toxic people, Jerry? What do we need to look at?
I was just wondering, who are you most afraid of? And I'm hearing Glenn saying that he's afraid of the aunties.
No, I'm not afraid of the aunties. I'm all settled. No one can say anything to hurt me or whatever, but the feedback I get from many, many people. It's usually the aunties, who will bring things up during these family occasions.
When are you getting married?
That'll just spoil the person's
Why
day.
are you having children?
Yeah.
When are you having children?
Yeah, the uncles don't care.
Uncles don't care.
Yeah, that is true.
Because the uncle's only there for the beer anyway.
Exactly.
And the food.
Okay, who else? Who else are we afraid of?
I'm only afraid of two people, my wife and my mother-in-law. That's it.
But they have to be there, so.
I've got no choice. They have to stick around
But
me.
still, you always make fun of your mother-in-law?
That's only because I know she doesn't listen at
I'll
that
tell her
particular
one of these
time.
days when I see her. I'll tell her.
Yes, I
Aye.
think all you have to do is send her the link for our podcast, and she can listen at her own time.
Ayo.
I know. We're getting him into trouble.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
How about Shaun? Is there anyone that you're worried about or scared of?
Now, not so much anymore. Maybe when I was younger, a lot, like what Glenn said, a lot of the aunties used to mention a lot about my weight and my girlfriends. Not girlfriends, but maybe that one girlfriend that I brought.
Okay.
Yeah. But nowadays, I'm okay. Yeah.
Because you're more settled, maybe, and you're more confident.
That and I don't go out.
Oh, you don't?
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, I just don't see you anymore.
Okay.
So Shaun was sharing about the topics that he's afraid of. Weight, girlfriends.
Yes.
Weight and girlfriends.
Well, those are the two things that
he encountered.
He encountered.
And when I was
worried
in school, education as well. Because I didn't come from like a express stream or anything like that, right?
Yeah. Any fancy school.
But that would be
or
all of us. I think school was a very...
When you were younger.
was a very stressful period, actually.
Yeah.
Because you keep on thinking about, what you're going to do in the future. You know what I mean? And of course, your parents and once again, the aunties will all be asking you like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow
Or
up?
comparing
Are you working
with other
towards
people,
that?
comparing...
Yeah,
I think a lot of
parents sit
comparisons
down
are done.
Oh, my daughter just did this and my son just did that.
My overachiever child just finished everything. Yeah.
I have a doctor cousin, so that's what I had to deal with.
Oh,
So
wow,
I think for all teenagers when they're in school, especially before you sit for your O levels or later on, when you move on to the poly or the university, you never really relax until you graduate.
Yeah.
Like we're all thinking like, okay, we want to just go and work now.
Yeah.
We want to get out there and work.
Yeah.
Because that's when all the worrying will stop.
No,
But that's not
when it
necessarily the
starts.
case.
Yeah. I mean, at different ages, you have different worries.
Yeah.
People think it ends
So
with a
for
certain
those
time.
that are going to receive the O-level results this Thursday, so they are complaining. They get it before Chinese New Year. People are going to ask them about the results. They get it after Chinese. So most of them are saying, "I want to get it after Chinese New Year." So those are the students that have taken the A levels. So they are getting it in February. So it's after the Chinese New Year. But there's a group of the kids, the O-level kids that are like, I don't want to go for Chinese New Year this year.
Super stressed out.
Yeah.
So it's avoiding them. It's avoiding people you don't want to see the best solution, or it's facing up to it and actually telling them off better.
The different ways of dealings, but let's look at the different types of people we want to avoid. Because we mentioned about aunties, poor aunties lah. Sometimes they don't mean any harm, right? Okay, so the very first one we
They're just
have
born like that.
no lah.
Like that Lady Gaga song lah. Born this way.
Born this way. Oh.
Irritating.
Irritating because the first one is the critical relative. I think you all mentioned about the critical relative, the one that everything you do, they have something to comment, which is very annoying. So that's the first kind. Then the second kind is the everything also want to know.
The busybody.
Yes.
Hey, tell me, and they're like the gossipy kind. They want to find out everything. They want to know the juicy bits. They are the ones that know the juicy bits and spread everything around.
Yeah, they talk behind people's backs as a result of that, right?
Sometimes they don't talk behind people's back, but they just want to know everything and be in the know.
They want to be the first person to know.
Yeah. So they really don't bother, how they do it. They just want to get that piece of information from you. Then the third one is what I call the dark cloud.
The negative, pessimistic.
The very negative. Everything is just horrible. Life is terrible. How can you laugh or smile? What is Chinese New Year? Why is everybody laughing? What is this? All the red, so they might not say anything bad about you, but their vibe is doom and gloom, right?
That's the kind of old man I want to be.
Oh, that's horrible.
When I'm old and nobody cares about me, that's the kind of guy I want to be.
You're not going to be that person.
But I want to.
No.
It's so fun. I can say anything and get away with it.
No.
Don't be that person.
Old people can get away with everything. Not anymore.
No, they won't be on social media. They don't know. Anyways.
But we know how that feels when that dark cloud suddenly just walks in the room, right? So those are some people that, do we really want to be next to them? The other one, are we on
Facebook?
Big Show
TV, yes.
Okay. Then I can say is what I call the Paris Hilton.
Wow.
Okay.
Why you whack her?
Tell us more.
These are aunties that make videos?
No, who is the Paris Hilton?
I used to love Paris Hilton though.
Is she the one with all the bling and showing off everything that she's bought?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very show off, come look at
Look at my new Hermes Birkin and my new diamond
Show off,
ring.
not take it off.
That's right.
You say Paris Hilton, I think take it off. I'm not thinking show off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anyway.
Show off. We keep our clothes on, Glenn.
It's not that kind of party, Glenn.
But the first Paris Hilton scandal was...
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, her secret tapes.
Yeah.
Okay, no, show off. I meant show off. And Chinese New Year suddenly becomes that time for these people to start showing off. Or even normal days, right? A friend that does it, and we go like, oh, why would you want to do that? I don't care if you got the latest gadget or new car or whatever it is, or wherever you travel in the world, right? So so that's the show off. Then the last one is what I call, I was trying to find a name for it, but I couldn't find. So I call it the reverse compare. So instead of comparing with you overtly, they do this weird thing by putting themselves as that victim, like, oh, but I don't have this, or I don't have that, or but you have this, or and they're quietly jealous. So it's not like they're whinging because they don't have; they are actually jealous. But they say it in a way that sounds like, oh, you're so good. Oh my gosh, you've got this. But underneath is like just bubbling.
That's very manipulative, right?
Sounds it.
Yeah.
All our smartwatches should have lie sensors. So we switch it on. And when we talk to people, we know whether they're sincere or not.
It's like secretly pointed in their direction.
Do you really want to know though? Like, if you do feel uncomfortable, get out of there lah. Why would you want to know?
So how do you deal with it? I mean, is it walking away, or is it actually saying to their faces, I don't appreciate what you're saying?
You can tell them directly if it's, sometimes it's tricky. So if a friend tells you that, you might want to tell them in the face, so very blatantly. But if it's a relative, then we are a little bit more cautious about it because, whatever you do might implicate your mom or dad or the rest of the family.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Still got to be respectful.
Correct. So that would be a bit more difficult. Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room, and we're talking about decluttering people in your life.
Culling.
No, decluttering, not culling.
Executing.
No, decluttering.
Decluttering. So I think a couple of years ago I did this. We decluttered our bags. So for friends, right, I actually would like you to look at your phones and your contact list.
Okay.
When was the last time we had decluttered our contact list? Oh, FD.
Long time.
Come on. I've never decluttered my contact list.
Yeah, I'm also looking at it.
Yeah, or are we guilty of just transferring the contact list from one phone to another when we, transfer SIM card?
Yeah, because
I'm scrolling. I'm still on A.
You need those numbers just in case.
I have double entries as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I hate it when those double entries happen.
Man.
Yeah, I'm still at A as well.
Because sometimes you meet someone at an event, right? And you just very quickly key in the person's details.
Oh, but you know what my
might be
phone
different
says?
from the first time. You might already have the person's contact.
My phone
in the
says
phone.
clean up 500 duplicate contacts.
Oh.
So I have duplicated contacts.
Throw it
You
away.
have 500
Duplicated contacts. So I'm cleaning them up right now.
See,
you
this is the
swap
problem
phones.
with Android phones. See?
Hey,
You will have you see, like the Apple phone, the moment you have a duplicate, it just gets rid of the duplicate.
They'll combine.
didn't you just say
both
you had
numbers.
multiple?
No,
Yeah, that's
I
what
didn't
you
say
just
that.
said
That's
2
exactly
minutes
what you
ago.
just said.
Apple will handle
You just-
everything
what
for you.
nonsense. You just said you had
Everything.
multiple entries.
In the past, when I was using an Android phone.
Anyway, we're not talking about our mobile phones right now.
we're
Dr.
not.
Jerry.
Contact list.
are one thing, but if you're still scrolling on A or B,
Yeah.
then I wonder how many people do you need in there?
Yeah.
So
And sometimes you ask the question, who is this person?
That's the worst, right?
Who is this
Yeah.
person? How come
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we declutter, it's not only the toxic people in our life, but also what are all these extra weight and extra space where we keep all these data, right? Or we keep all these people.
I know it's very physical, like decluttering your contact list is something that may not seem emotional, but will it actually help us to sort of feel lighter if we do something like that? Is that an exercise that we should practice?
So yes. So it's allowing yourself to know who you have in your life, so your mind space is a little bit better. Otherwise, you're going into your you're trying to find a contact. You're going into your contact list and go like, oh my gosh, I can't find who I want to find, but I find everyone else. So a little bit of a hoarder in that aspect, right? So you can't see the space on your floor. You actually want to clear things out. And sometimes we go, oh, but I feel sentimental. Oh, but maybe, and what you said about just in case. But after 10 years, just in case, you need that person in your life.
That's
Do you need
true.
a contact person in your life? Yeah.
I've never called Asing the handyman, but what if I need him? His number is still in my phone.
Then you can Google, because maybe Asing is no longer working anymore and you need a new handyman anyway.
That is true.
Everyone needs an Asing
Right?
and an alien in their lives.
That's what I
Okay.
mean. Yes. Okay, I'll leave Asing in there for a while.
When we come back, Prashant's got a very interesting comment. Okay, Jerry, we're talking about decluttering people. We've talked about our phones. We've talked about things like that. And usually when we want to declutter people, we declutter them because they're toxic to us. Correct? But Prashant says, and this is interesting, I want your comment, right? Not liking someone doesn't necessarily make them toxic.
Toxic to you.
Yeah, because you don't like them.
Not
That doesn't mean
liking someone.
That doesn't mean they're toxic to you.
Wait, not liking
But if
someone.
you don't like the person,
Not
just
liking
don't like the
someone
fella's face.
doesn't make them toxic.
no, as a
True.
person, it doesn't make them toxic. But not liking someone, you not liking someone, makes them a negative impact on your life.
But doesn't get on your nerves. Like some
Yeah, yeah.
people, right? So toxic, the moment you think about them.
Oh.
ooh.
Yeah,
They
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
There are people I don't like, but I don't find them toxic. I just don't like them.
Ask me who don't I like?
Who don't you like, Glenn?
I love everybody.
Liar.
I'm the people's DJ.
Yeah.
Just remember
Liar,
that.
Wow,
Pants
okay.
on fire.
I love everybody. I have everybody's numbers.
So what do you say to that, Jerry?
Prashant has a point, right? Prashant has a point. So not liking somebody could be due to various reasons that you have and not the other person has. So the toxic person tends to devalue, I think Shaun mentioned about, people having no filter, right? So they don't have boundaries, they don't see your boundaries, so they invade your space. The toxic person tends to cast a lot of doubts in your own mind. But you not liking someone else may not be due to these reasons. It could be due to other reasons. You don't like somebody's working style, perhaps. You have different values, perhaps, and it's okay to have different values. And so this other person may not be likable in your books, but may not be toxic to you. So both can coexist in the same space and still continue to function.
What if there is a person in your life that you cannot get rid of for whatever reason, like an auntie that you have to face, or an uncle that lives with you, or something like that? What do you do with those people?
Okay, so this is what I have for the other ones that are a little bit more troublesome. So I call it the bubble method. So imagine that you are in that bubble. Okay, and it's like a shield, right? So let's think of superheroes and their shield. So it's a shield, and we're in it. And their criticism, their love just cannot get to you because you're protected in that bubble. So whatever they say just bounces off that shield.
So it's a
Yes.
mental thing then.
I'm
It's a
rubber, you're
mindset.
glue. Whatever you says bounces off me and sticks to you.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, I haven't heard that
I
yet.
like that. I've never heard that.
I'm rubber, you're glue.
glue.
Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
Oh, love it. Love it.
That's a nice quote. I'm going to use
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, wow, I haven't heard that one in a long time.
It's
Where
cute.
is
I
it
like it.
from? Oh my gosh.
I know it's from when I was
I
young.
don't know. Yeah, when I
it's
was young.
Shakespeare.
Very young.
It's Shakespeare. Yeah.
It's very, very young.
Nice. So yeah, so it's similar, but I like the sticking part, the other person, because then it's the other part that we always coach people, which is your statement belongs to you and doesn't belong to me. Yeah. So when it bounces back, it really belongs to them. It's not your statement.
Jerry, I'm listening to you talk, and correct me if I'm wrong. Toxic people are toxic because we allow them to be. We allow them to affect us. Is that right?
They are still toxic no matter what.
But that toxicity only affects us because we allow it.
Yeah, the reaction that you give.
Well, because we also want to know whether there's a shred of truth in it or not. So that's where our human brain wants to learn and evolve. But when there's no learning to get from that relationship or that exchange, then it becomes toxic.
Okay.
Words are very powerful.
They
You know
are.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I think we're all different. Some people get affected
By words.
more easily.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
words in general are very powerful.
Yeah, sticks and stones, though. I think if you remember that they shouldn't affect you.
Yeah. So what we can then do is also, the bubble effect, right? Or the bubble method, then is the stranger mentality. So we can implement that stranger mentality, because if we see a stranger and the stranger frowns at us, we will just look at the stranger and just walk past, right? So we put some distance between ourselves and the other person. So that emotional distancing occurs within ourselves, because the other person don't know what they're doing to us, but we know what they're doing to us. So we put that distance between them and us.
Okay.
Okay.
Jerry, this toxicity that people have,
Yeah.
how do I put this? Can it be a clinical problem?
Can. So there are certain personalities, usually the personality disorders, like borderline personality disorder, narcissistic people. So these form a lot of that toxic people. So a lot of gaslighting happens also. Sometimes they say certain things that you've never done, and then you start to wonder, did I remember wrongly? You start to doubt yourself. Am I so horrible? Maybe I should just listen to them. Yeah.
Wow. So it can be a clinical problem.
Yeah.
Just like the Gojek driver.
Yeah.
I think maybe he has a clinical problem.
Yeah. Because watching the video, it seems he
He
was
needs
rough.
help.
Did
He
you
needs
see
help.
the
He was
video,
rough.
Dr. Jerry?
No. Okay, you
Okay.
can send me the link, Sean.
If you want, we can watch it.
Okay,
Sean has the video.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
put it into context. Man gets into a Gojek.
No, he has a video.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he
right.
just setting it up. He then moves the front seat back to make more space for him because he's tall. He reaches out and turns the fan down on the aircon
Because
Okay.
he was cold.
Later.
without asking
We'll show it
the
later.
driver.
We'll show it later.
Okay,
We don't have
maybe
time now.
after traffic.
After traffic.
Yeah, after
Oh, no.
traffic.
When we go back on
On the Big Show TV.
On the Big
Yeah.
Show TV, we'll show it to you.
Yeah, we're gonna show it to Julian actually.
Yeah, he's talking
Because
about
we're talking
road
about
rage.
road rage today.
yeah.
But
Wow.
you're the perfect person to show this
we
video
can start
too.
there, and then we can.
Yeah, so I think he's got a little bit of an issue,
Who are we?
needs a bit of help.
Who are we to
We can't judge.
diagnose?
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Once again, good morning, Jerry, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Glad to be here every week.
We're talking about decluttering people from our lives, the toxic individuals that may cause us to feel uncomfortable or not so great about ourselves. Just in time for Chinese New Year, you were coming up with a list of quite a few types of people that we may not want to run into, especially around the festive seasons. Things like the critical auntie, the everything also need to know individual, the dark cloud in our lives, the reverse compare person, and the Paris Hilton. Who is the Paris Hilton?
The show off.
The show off.
The show off. Right. Okay.
Surely there are other people who show off much more than Paris Hilton.
Yeah, for sure.
Nowadays, yes, of course.
I'll tell you the one that I personally don't like. It's the one who comes in, sits down, you're having a conversation. You know, my son just graduated with honors, you know? I'm so proud of him. And turns to you, waiting for
your
you
answer
to try and match that with your child.
But
because you know it's not going to happen.
If I'm
right?
a parent and I have a child who is in that situation, I would also brag about my kid. Because I'm proud of him or her.
Yeah.
No, you can say, you know, I'm really proud of my kid. He did this. But no, this is, you know, my child just did this.
They
that,
make
that,
you feel
and then
like
they
crap.
turn and go, now beat that.
Yeah.
I have seen that so
Nothing
many
wrong, right,
times.
Jerry? Is there anything wrong with
What's the
that?
name of someone like that, Dr. Jerry?
A proud parent.
I don't know. It's proud.
Okay.
It's still part of that show off, right? You know, so they want to show
is,
off.
yeah.
They make you feel bad. And all you have to tell them is good for you. And your life is your life. My life is my life.
Yeah.
You know, and put that distance between yourself and that person.
But it could also be the reverse, what, Jerry? Maybe the person who is receiving it, right? Perhaps maybe
Bit sensitive.
wishes that their kid has done just as well.
But it's the delivery.
No,
that
but is
these
it necessary
people do.
for you to deliver it in that way?
It's the delivery.
In that competitive,
But you know,
challenging way?
parents give up and sacrifice so much for their
But there's-
children.
no, but
When it
there's-
comes to that point where they're extremely proud of their
No.
kid,
They want to show
they
off.
can't help themselves.
There is a difference between being proud and there's a difference between showing off and wanting everyone
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
how well. It's okay to say my child did very well, but it's like what FD said, it's the delivery.
It's the delivery.
Oh, look, I have this. Look at you and go, do you have the same? What's your
but
upping
you have
that
to
game,
admit
you know?
that it could be someone being sensitive as well, right?
No,
because
I don't. Not
they
if
know
it's delivered
they
like
know that
Yeah.
their kid has underachieved.
Oh, which kid?
Oh.
No, I'm
other one.
saying
The kid that
there
it's
are all
being
kinds
sent
of
to.
possibilities. Yeah,
Right, okay.
that parent who's
Who's
feeling
receiving
like,
it,
oh,
right.
that person is showing off.
No, it could
that
be as
person's
well.
child may have underachieved for.
That's
for-
true, but you don't have someone coming in and showing that up.
Yeah, you can
You know what I mean?
talk about your kid and you can boast about your kid, but you can't put every other kid down.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think that person is putting the kid down. I'm just saying that two sides to everything.
I know.
Right?
I
That you
feel you.
understand where
I
I'm
feel
coming,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
No, I know where you
Yeah.
guys are going,
Yeah.
you know, with this, and I've seen this for myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but what I'm saying is there are two sides. you
Of
know.
course there
Some
are.
Yeah,
parents give everything up for their kids because they want to be proud and brag about their children.
Dr. Jerry?
There's actually one more category on my list, and I actually put it as expectations. So this is I can't label the person, but it's actually our own expectations. So we are yearning for something. We go into the space and we want validation. So we are constantly chasing people's expectation, and we then get disappointed when we don't obtain that validation. So if we are going into a gathering hoping that people will compliment us on our achievement, on our weight loss, on our looks, or whatever it is, then my question would be, why are you trying to chase to an expectation that you don't even know whether it exists or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so same thing, during any gatherings, especially for Chinese New Year, where everything is like shiny and bright, and then you're trying to get that auntie to approve of you, to be good enough, to give all the information to that relative that wants to know it all, or to compare yourself to the show off who has a million things in his or her cupboard or on the roads, right? And then after that, you feel disappointed that you can't measure up, but whose whose measurement is that? Whose metrics is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why, Jerry, correct me if I find bragging very toxic.
Yeah.
I think being proud is one thing. Bragging is completely different. And personally, I find that very toxic.
I do so. Yeah.
Yeah, so the bragging could be the other person wanting validation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they need approval. We don't need to compare ourselves with the other person.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's video time then, Dr. Jerry.
Okay,
Have a look at
analyze this crazy.
this crazy man.
Aircon and then the aircon. I just lowered a bit the wind speed. You asked, you did without my permission. Don't get out of my car. I'm not getting out of the car. You send me the call. Get out of my car. Thick skin. You're thick skin. You're thick skin. Get out of my car. No. You drive me to my destination. You are sitting in people's car, no? You think what taxi? Get out of my car. Out. Get out. Out. Get out. Out.
You're right. There is
really
something wrong
violent.
with that guy, right?
Dr. Jerry?
It seems violent.
You're muted.
You're muted, Jerry.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I give you permission to
sorry.
never mute ever again.
Yeah, I don't have to.
Don't have to mute. Yeah.
We only have the version that the passenger
person
gave
has.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea what the passenger has done and what the passenger has said and his expression, but we've got full frontal view of the driver. And while it is unglamorous for the driver to do that, we don't know what had provoked it.
And what transpired before the video actually
This is
started
true.
recording?
That is going to be Angel's next driver.
Oh. Okay. But that's okay. I can handle it. I keep quiet. I don't speak to any of my drivers. And I sit in the back.
Yeah,
so.
who sits in the front?
Yeah, I sit in the back. I never sit in the front.
But that is
Yeah.
very true. We only see one perspective.
Which says something about that passenger as well.
What?
You know, that the passenger is a nice person, sitting in front
Why?
rather than behind.
Why?
Yeah, people like to be driven, but it says something about someone who sits in front. They want to be on the same level as the driver. If not, you just sit at the back. What?
Yeah, I sit at the back.
Different interpretations, right?
Yeah, I don't think it makes you any less of a person if you sit in the back.
Makes you a nicer person. I think.
I don't think it makes you a less
Nicer.
nice person if you sit in the back.
When
at the back
Glenn
means-
sits in
Depends
front,
who's driving you.
he's a nice person.
Right.
When he sits in the back,
He's an
saying
entitled
you're
person.
the driver, you're the chauffeur.
Right.
But that only applies to Glenn. It doesn't apply to all of us.
That is true.
The-
That
the
is true.
only
Me
time-
and Pope Francis.
Oh,
How about
wow.
that?
The only time Glenn is going to sit in the front or in the back is when his car is in the workshop.
Correct.
Otherwise, he's driving his car.
I follow Pope Francis. Whatever he does, I do.
Okay.
Okay, whoever that sits in Glenn's car, sit beside him, please. Don't sit in the back seat. He will be so affronted.
Oh, if you're sitting in my car, of course you got to sit next to me. If you go sit at the back, I'll ask you come and sit in front.
Oh,
Get
making
out.
you look like a driver.
If you're the only person who's in my car, that's going to be a bit weird.
It's like drive me now,
He was
Glenn.
like, yeah.
Needs to go
Supreme
down the
driver.
road.
Come on, hurry up now. Turn the aircon down.
Yeah, but I think what the driver said is you are in somebody else's car. So whatever it is, we do need to be respectful also.
But he said, what? You think this is a taxi? It is a taxi, what?
No, but I think, I honestly think that private hire drivers do see themselves as different from taxi
From taxis,
drivers.
yes, they do.
Yeah, what's
They
the
do,
definition
they
of
do.
taxi?
Yeah,
Taxiing someone
ferries
Yeah, yeah,
someone.
yeah.
from
yes.
point A to point
For-
B.
No, I understand
For
that. I
payment,
do
yes.
understand that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the private hire drivers do see themselves as different. They don't see themselves as taxi drivers.
Yeah, I mean, they can see themselves as whatever they want, but this chap
Yeah.
just wanted to adjust the seat because, he
He's
wanted
too
more
tall.
leg room.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
What-
he
you
didn't.
ask-
He
you
didn't
ask-
take issue
triggered
with
it.
that. He
You
didn't
ask
take issue with
any
that.
Trigger was
pri-
the aircon. He changed the speed
aircon.
of the fan. That's what triggered it. I am sure of it. not the seat. Because everybody adjusts seats when you get into a taxi or grab hire.
Yeah, I do that as well.
But he brought it up as well.
Yeah. But it was also you touched the aircon.
I hope you get this taxi driver.
Eddie, make sure you film it, okay?
Are all of you taking the side of this taxi driver?
I'm not taking any
private
sides.
hire
I'm
driver.
not taking
What do you
any
call? What
sides.
do you call him?
Private
He's a
hire
private hire
driver.
Private hire driver.
Yeah.
Private hire driver.
I just say cab driver. Like my driver's here.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I
just the
mean,
driver.
they are your driver.
To me, even if
for
a cab arrives, it's my driver's here.
Yeah, for that
not my
amount of
taxi
time that you
driver.
paid them for that service, they are your driver.
You know, I think we have quite a number of private hire drivers who are tuned in to
Oh,
us
yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah, please.
Tell us what you
Yeah.
think.
If you can't type it
They
in on
are
our Facebook page,
driving.
yeah, you know.
Doesn't matter.
Voice note, leave a
You can
voice
send
note.
us a voice note on our WhatsApp at 88550913. Please, we'd love to hear what you
The
think.
big show. Listen, watch, and type your comments at the same time.
Yeah. and record,
While driving.
And record
No.
your voice as well.
No, don't type anything while you're driving.
While driving and making a police report.
Oh, dear.
Oh no. Yeah, but let's refrain from judging that poor driver. I think we don't know the full story, so it's
Yep.
not fair. Yeah.
No, it just looks like Linda Blair and The Exorcist.
No. And you don't know what he went through right before he started driving as well. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know,
We
there are
don't
things
know
that
what
we
happened.
go through.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to decluttering our
Yes.
Culling people.
Culling people.
No,
No.
there,
No.
look at this
Angel,
girl.
no.
What?
Culling
Why?
people.
Culling people, yes.
Oh, you're the
Because
devil.
if I cull people from my lives, that's it. They're gone forever.
Okay, so who would you like to
Not
call?
incur
I
a
don't have
woman's
anyone to
loss.
cull from my life at the
called
moment.
everyone already.
Yeah, they're all gone.
So Jerry, when we come across all these people that we've described, what do? Just drop them like a hot brick.
So we had the bubble method, right? And
Yeah.
the stranger mentality that
Yeah.
I said. So
Are there
under
any
the
others?
stranger mentality, I was saying to distance yourself.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want us to take note of is we tend to turn to the next person and say, hey, how come you never help me? You know, we blame the other people. But if we are going to treat the person as a stranger, then the bystander effect also comes into play because everybody loves a good show, right? Or they don't want to get involved. So understanding that there will be a bystander effect and stand up for yourself. So the first thing that you can do for yourself in that space to respect yourself is to stand up for yourself.
So the bystander
would be-
has no responsibility, right, of standing up for you.
They would have their own reasons, issues, their own insecurities, you know, why it why it makes it difficult for them to stand up for you. And sometimes they are shocked also if somebody comes in and go like,
Yeah.
oh, but it's addressed to you, it's not to me. What right do I have to intervene? You know, so so sometimes there is that bystander effect in a gathering or in during Chinese New Year because I don't want to be the next person the arrow comes and shoots at, so I'm just going to keep quiet.
But I'm just a bit disturbed by the reaction of that driver. I feel like, you know, because you're providing a service, right,
Yeah.
you have to be more tolerant
It was a
than
bit
that.
violent.
You need to speak, you know,
Yes.
more tactfully. You know, being so aggressive like that, right? I mean, everyone takes private hire or taxis. If a child, for example, you know, is in that car and sits in front or perhaps maybe fiddles or something at the back and a driver like that doesn't like it and a driver goes off on the child,
Yeah.
it is extremely worrying.
It
Yeah.
is, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, and I'll jump to the defense to a certain degree of these drivers. Some of them are on the road 12, 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, it's please do not think it's an easy life.
Yeah, but so are your taxi drivers, you know, the taxi companies and all
we've
that.
had taxi drivers explode as well.
Yeah.
Can we go back on air
No,
first?
we have not.
We go back on air and then we got some comments
We got
as
a
well.
couple of comments we'll read out.
3, 2.
All right, would we like to name some super tramps?
No.
Which auntie? Okay.
Don't call people names.
Don't
Glenn.
call people names. You're on The Big Show and The Big Show TV with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Yeah, we got a couple of comments on our Facebook page because we're talking about the whole incident with the Gojek driver and the guy who attempted to adjust the aircon vent, or whether it was the fan speed or whatever it was. Joel has come on board, and Joel has actually driven me. Right?
Okay.
I've been in his car. And he says, as a private hire driver myself, I think that the driver crossed the red line. There are other safer and professional options available before having such an outburst. Lucille said, I usually don't see passengers adjusting the speed of the aircon. They only adjust the vent, which to me is okay. I think it doesn't matter whether it was the vent or the speed or anything else. I think the issue with the driver was that he touched something within his personal space. And Gary says he agrees with the FD in the point of adjusting the car stuff. I don't go adjusting people's aircons or seats without asking first, even in my friend's car. It's just basic courtesy.
But would you explode like that? This is my question. Would you explode like that?
I've got to say, having seen this, I'm going to be a little more cautious, because sometimes when I'm traveling with the kids and Michelle, they will get in the back of a Grab and I'll get in the front. And I just automatically adjust the seat. I don't say anything. I mean, I don't touch
polite.
the aircons.
I think it's polite to ask.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Actually, it is, because that is his car.
I mean, I went into my hairstylist's home one day, and she was doing all her work out of her home. And I felt that the seat was a bit too far away from the table in front of me. And I actually just went ahead and I pulled it forward, and she looks at me and she goes, I don't go to your house and adjust everything around and move the furniture, which is true. So I think this is the same thing. It belongs to your personal space. Yeah. You ask first before you shift anything.
Yeah,
around.
but you see, that's the way to talk to someone.
Yes, yeah. No, more politely than screaming and shouting. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are many ways to deal with it. Dr. Jerry.
We don't approve of his, shouting and screaming, but yes, we still don't have the full picture. So
we don't.
I mean, if he was a waiter in a restaurant, he'd be fired already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, I agree with Dr. Jerry. We don't know.
Service industry.
We don't know. We're taking the context out of the 2-minute video that was posted online.
We don't know what happened
anything
prior
else
to
that
that.
happened prior to that, we don't know.
Right?
Right?
I think I should take on the role of judge.
No, I think not.
From now on,
no,
at least on the radio. I mean, in future life, we have a situation like this again. Every time we have a situation like this, I will pass judgment.
Because he's the
People say,
supreme
"Don't
leader.
judge, don't judge."
So he's now a judge
I think
in the
it'll be quite
Supreme
fun,
Court.
right?
I'm not
It'll be
sure
quite
he's
fun.
the best judge of everything, but
Hey, see,
yes.
Don't say that.
Anyway,
Everyone knows I'm
You're fair.
quite
Berlin is
fair.
waiting on the other side.
like Judge Dredd. How about that? I'm like
Judge
Judge
Dredd.
Oh, Lord.
Dr. Jerry, any final words, Dr. Jerry?
So this Gojek driver is guilty.
Stop it.
It's guilty. He's guilty. Get out. No, I'm kidding.
No, but
Get out from
but
Gojek.
in the whole with the topic of decluttering, right, and standing up for yourself. Don't stand up for yourself by just screaming like that, but do stand up. So I'm going to quote something from Maya Angelou, and she says, and I not only have the right to stand up for myself, but I have the responsibility. I can't ask somebody else to stand up for me if I won't stand up for myself. And once you stand up for yourself, you'll be surprised that people say, can I be of help? So you will break the bystander effect once you start standing up for yourself.
Totally agree. Love
Such
that.
a bad influence is Maya.
Love that.
You know, that
Angelou.
Gojek driver probably, is a big fan of Maya. And so he's standing up for himself. See what happened? See what happened?
Okay. Okay.
Glenn. I'm so stressed by you. Next week we're going to talk about dealing with stress.
Okay. I mean, if you could prescribe medication to that Gojek driver, which medication would it be?
No, I
don't.
cannot
She doesn't prescribe.
Don't.
All right.
All of you next week. You can ask Julian for his opinion.
We are going to do just that.
Okay. You take care, Jerry. Thank you very much.